Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you to announce a truth so primitive, so deep, that it vibrates in the souls of every living being. Death is coming for you. You may feel invincible. You may feel as if life spreads out before you like an unending road, full with options and chances. But let me tell you something. Each of those routes goes to the same destination. A spot where all paths merge, where the ticking of the clock pauses, where the final breath is drawn. You can't escape it. You can't outrun it. You can't hide from it. Death is coming for you, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Every second of your life puts you closer to the grave. It's a haunting thought, isn't it? No matter how hard you struggle, no matter how much you achieve, no matter how much you love or are loved, the end is always there, waiting. The unrelenting march of time pushes you towards it, step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat. Think about that for a second. Feel the weight of that fact. Imagine the icy, relentless grasp of death closing around you. Imagine it closing in unrelenting, inevitable. You might try to ignore it, to distract yourself with the trivialities of life, but deep down, you know the truth. Death is not patient. It does not wait for you to be ready. It doesn't care about your aspirations, your regrets, or your unfinished business. It is cruel, tearing through the fabric of your existence without a second thought, disconnecting you from all you hold dear. The world you know, the people you love, the experiences you treasure, they all go in a second. Death is the ultimate equalizer. It doesn't care who you are, what you've done, or what you've failed to do. It comes for the rich and the poor, the powerful and the powerless, the young and the old. You can build your castles, gather your wealth, conquer kingdoms, or live in quiet obscurity. None of it counts. In the end, we are all equal before death, reduced to nothing more than memories in the minds of the living, and eventually not even that. But here's the thing. Knowing that death is approaching and feeling its chilly breath on the back of your neck should not paralyze you. It should kindle a fire within you. The knowledge of death's certainty should push you to live with ferocity, a passion that burns brighter than the fear of the inevitable. You see, death is the one thing that gives life its purpose. Without it, there would be no urgency, no motivation to act, no cause to dream. The shadow of death is what makes every moment valuable and every action essential. It pulls away the trivialities and pushes you to confront the essence of your existence. This life is brief, and every second counts. Embrace the darkness of this reality. Let it guide you. Let it drive you. Let it remind you that you have a limited time to make your mark, to accomplish your purpose, to create something that will outlast you. Death may be coming, but until it arrives, you have the capacity to live in a way that makes its arrival meaningless. The fear of death may paralyze you and make you scared to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, and to seek your ambitions. But if you let that fear control you, then you're already dead. You're merely a ghost, roaming through life without fully living, waiting for the eventual end. Don't let that happen. Don't allow death to claim you before your time. Live as if death were right beside you. Feel its existence and use it as a reminder that you are still here, still alive, still capable of doing something that counts. Let it push you to take the chances you've been avoiding, to say the truths you've been repressing, and to follow the ambitions you've been putting off. Don't waste a single moment. Every second you waste procrastinating, doubting yourself, or indulging in self-pity is a second you'll never get back. It's a second closer to your end. And when that time comes, would you be able to say that you lived fully and that you contributed everything you had? Or would you be racked with regret, haunted by the things you didn't do, the chances you didn't take, the life you didn't live? Death is coming for you, and it's coming fast. But you don't have to be terrified. You don't have to let it defeat you. Instead, use it as your motivation, your driving force. Let it remind you that every day is a gift, every struggle a chance, and every failure a lesson. Live with a sense of urgency. Act as if the clock is ticking down, because it is. Every decision you make and every action you take should be done with the knowledge that time is running out. And when the end comes, may it find you living furiously, bravely, with no regrets. Death is coming for you, but it doesn't have to be a tragedy. It can be the thing that propels you to greatness, the force that pushes you to achieve more than you ever believed imaginable. It can be your reminder to live a life that matters, to make an influence that will outlast you, to leave behind a legacy that will remain long after you're gone. So look death in the eye. Acknowledge it, accept it, but don't let it control you. Let it inspire you. Let it urge you to live a life so full, so rich, that when your time comes, you can meet it with a smile, knowing that you lived without fear, without hesitation, and without regret. You can't escape death, but you can make sure that it doesn't catch you living a life half-lived. You may assure that when it comes, you are ready, not because you are resigned to your fate, but because you have lived with such passion and purpose that death becomes only the next adventure, the next step in a life well lived. Don't fear the darkness. Embrace it. Use it. Let it fuel your fire. Let it be the power that drives you to greatness, that pushes you to live in a way that others only dream about. Death is coming for you, but you have the power to live in such a way that death becomes insignificant. You have the potential to make every moment count, to live with a passion and a purpose that makes death nothing more than a footnote in the story of your life. Don't squander another second. Don't let the fear of dying hold you back. Let it push you on, quicker, harder, and more determined than ever. Let it remind you that time is precious, that life is fleeting, and that every minute is an opportunity to live fully, bravely, and without regret. Death is coming for you, but until it arrives, live as if every second is your last. Live with such fire, such passion, that when death eventually comes, you can meet it with a grin, knowing that you didn't simply survive, you genuinely lived. And in the end, that's all that matters. Death will come for you, but you may choose how you confront it. You can choose to live a life that matters, a life that burns so brightly that even in the face of death, you continue to shine. You can choose to make every moment count, to live with a feeling of purpose and urgency that transcends the fear of the inevitable. Death is coming for you, but you are not powerless. You have the potential to live in a way that leaves a mark, to build something that outlasts you, to make your life a tribute to the human spirit's ability to prevail over the darkness. So what will you do with the time you have left? Will you let the fear of death hold you back? Or will you utilize it to urge you ahead to live a life that counts, a life that makes a difference? Death is coming for you, but you can make sure that when it arrives, it finds you living fully, furiously, and without fear. Live as if death is right beside you, because it is. And let that understanding push you to greatness, to a life spent without remorse, a life that shines so brightly that even death itself cannot dull your light. The end is inevitable, but how you live till then is up to you. Choose to live in a way that makes death nothing more than the next step in your trip. A journey that is rich, full, and without regret. Death is coming for you, but until it arrives, live in such a way that death becomes just another chapter in the story of a life lived to the fullest.